Welcome to this episode of Western Chester County Checks In. I'm your host, Justin Chan. We are coming to you live from the Knauer Performing Arts Center in downtown Westchester today. It is Wednesday, September 9th, 2019. Or excuse me, 2020. What year am I in? At any rate, we have a great show for you today, including an update on the historic Stottsville Inn in Salisburyville. We have a story about the current real estate market in Chester County from Matt Gorham with the Gorham Group. And we are going to sit down and talk a little bit with the executive director of Uptown's theater here in Westchester at the end of our show. But first, it's time for a community update. It's a back to school this week, so we thought it'd be a good idea to get a feel for how some of our students are going back. Obviously, it's a little bit different this year. So one of our board members, Jonathan Wright, had the chance to speak with one of our other board members, Lisa McNamara, who's with the Octorara Area School District.
Thanks, Justin. I am here today with Lisa McNamara, and Lisa McNamara is the Director of Career and Technical Education for the Octorara School District, and very excited to be here with you, Lisa. I know we're connecting on Zoom, and it's not quite the same, but I haven't seen you in a while, so it is nice to see you, yes. And nice to catch up with you a little bit before our interview here. But tell all of our viewers today and our members of the Chamber a little bit about what's going on with you guys over there at Octorara during this back-to-school time.
Well, hi, Jonathan. It is very nice to see you again as well. As everybody knows, education has been kind of turned upside down since COVID-19 started in March. Monday was the first day that we have had teachers back in this building. So it's been over 6 months. It's just been a little crazy. Very excited to get things started here at Octorara. So things are running relatively smoothly. I'm really excited about that. As things come up, we address them. So Octorara, new teachers started Monday, and we have the teachers came in Tuesday, and so they're here for a couple days, and our school starts September 8th with a online virtual first. So we're starting virtual learning until October 9th. That was the recommendation for the Chester County Emergency Department. And so we are sending some TCHS students to TCHS because that program's run by the IU. So things are running smoothly. Knock on wood.
That's great. Well, I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot going on, and we certainly appreciate your time. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you and your team are doing this year to, ensure as smooth of a process for the students and for the staff as possible. What are some of those things you guys are doing?
Well, a big thing that Octorara did, and we made this decision earlier on, and when I say Octorara, we're talking the administrative team at this point. We decided, and our superintendent and school board pushed back our start date for our students. So usually we would have started, the students would have started August 31st, and some districts have done that. We decided to move our start date back after Labor Day to September 8th. So that gives us a little bit more time because, as I think everybody in Chester County or in Pennsylvania or across the country knows, everything's changed. So we were planning week by week, and after we made a plan, something changed again. So then we had to redo the plan, and then it changed again, and we had to redo the plan. So things have been changing very rapidly. So that was, a relief that we kind of pushed our start date back. So obviously, all of our meetings are virtual. Right. So today we had our first, usually we have all of our staff come and meet us in the auditorium, and we, do presentations, and we have teacher awards given out and all that good stuff. But everything was virtual.
Right.
So that's different. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody's 6 feet apart. So, those things are real different. We're doing a lot of our professional development is all online, and that in itself is very different. So my technology curve in learning curve has gone way up. There's still a lot of things I'm learning. When we get the kids started next week, knock on wood again, hopefully we're not going to have too many issues with the Wi-Fi, and it's just going to run smoothly. We're in the process of distributing our Chromebooks to the students. So that'll be done this week. Our Homeland Security and Protective Service Academy is also going to be virtual until October 9th. Our in-house career and technical education programs are online until October 9th. However, the one really neat thing that we've decided to do is there's a national certification called OSHA 10. It's from CareerSafe. So it teaches workforce safety. So we're going to make sure every one of our students in career and technical education gets the OSHA certification. So by October 9th, everybody's going to have a national certification. So that's one way that we can kind of balance them not being in having that hands-on, but really getting something else that's substantial. So they're going to have that certification. So good stuff.
You brought me right into my last question for you, and we've already covered the big topics, COVID-19 and the virtual learning aspect, and masks and social distancing and all of the different things that have been a big part of all of our lives. It is certainly something that we can't not talk about, but the show must go on, and we will have a school year. Kids still need to learn. What are some things, aside from all that, what are some things that you want to point out as some highlights for your programs this year at Octorara, and mainly your focus there?
Well, I think one of the things that as educators, we have an opportunity to revamp education, revamp what we're doing in the classroom, changing it, making it more hands-on learning. Career and technical education is always hands-on learning. It is.
Right.
So we're kind of going, in a direction where, okay, how are we going to, the teachers really are becoming facilitators in this learning. And this is what education is. These kids are being given work-based learning projects and figure them out, working at them. And just think about the problem-solving ability that might come out of this. And, getting away from that paper pencil, getting away from certain things, and how we, just gotten routine of teaching. That's out the window.
Sure.
So just the opportunities we have right now is great. In career and technical education, like I said, these kids are getting this certification right off the bat. Everybody. So we're really excited about that. That's something new and exciting. Our Homeland Security students are coming from all different districts. And, so getting them organized and creating that group and that family. And a big thing is going to be creating this culture. Yeah. You know how it's very different when you're doing it online, whether you're in person or not. So, it's a new and exciting time. It's a challenging time, but, it's something that we're moving forward with. So.
Well, we certainly wish you and all of your faculty and staff and teammates there in the entire district all the best in this school year. And, and again, thank you so much for carving out a little time for us during such a busy time. I mean, we know this is your busy season, and we're certainly thankful. And I know the other, members of the board and of the chamber, will feel the same, that we're happy to have this little peek behind the scenes there into your world, that, answering a lot of questions that a lot of us just don't know about. So thanks again for that. And we certainly appreciate all that you do personally for the chamber, and of course, all the good folks in Octorara School District and in that part of our Western Chester County region. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We'll we'll sign off here. I know you've got a lot of things to do, and I'm over here in Downingtown at the Right Agency, so I'm going to get back to work, and we'll send it back to Justin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan, for that report, and to Lisa and the team at Octorara Area School District. Obviously, this year is a little different, and we really put a shout out to all those teachers that are trying to make school as normal as possible for our students under all these extraordinary circumstances. A couple upcoming events to note for the Chamber of Commerce, Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce, in the next few weeks here. First, next week on the 17th, which is, I believe, next Thursday, there is a ribbon cutting for one of our newest members, Casablanca. They are opening a kind of a micro wedding venue in the Midway Arts Building in downtown Coatesville. They're having that event from 2 to 9 p.m. It's timed tickets to ensure social distancing. They're only allowing 25 people in at a time. So if you go on our website, you can choose a time. It's going to be great free food, and check out the space. They also run Right Start Photography as well, so should be a great time for them. The next big event for the Chamber is our annual dinner, which is going to be held on October 21st, and that's at the historic barn at Stony Brook and at Glen. Tickets are also available for that, so you can find out about both of those events visiting our website, westernchestercounty.com. For our first Member Minute segment this week, we had a chance to go out to the historic Stottsville Inn in Salisburyville. Our president, Alyssa, and I were out there. We met with the new owner, Michael Quinn, to hear about the changes he's made to the property and the awesome food and fun that they have in store there.
Thanks, Justin. Hi, Alyssa Griffith, here today at the Stottsville Inn in Salisburyville. Today we met with the owner, Michael Quinn, and he told us what he did before he bought this property.
My history in the restaurant business is that somewhere deep inside, I always had an inkling to want to participate in the restaurant business, and primarily as like an owner. In high school in Laguna Beach, California, I was a busboy at one of the most incredible rib places that people used to come from all over LA to Laguna Beach, and we would have customers that would come in from 11 o'clock in the morning until 10:30 at night. They'd serve like 800 dinners a day or something. It was a very famous place.
So Michael gave us an early history of the property.
Stottsville built in 1858, and it was an incarnation from the Stottsville that was across the street that was a log building that had burnt down in the 1840s. And John Stotts built this, therefore Stottsville Inn. This was Lancaster Pike, Strasburg Road, which this building is on. And it was a 2-day horse and buggy, horse and carriage, horse and rider mercantile run from Lancaster to Philadelphia and back the other way. So people would stop overnight, they'd have their goods, which a lot of times was animals and chickens and things of that nature that they would be bringing to Philadelphia to sell.
There have been some famous guests here at the Stottsville Inn, most recently Kate Winslet, and they have a guest room named after her.
It was reported that President Buchanan and maybe one other president actually summered here in the early 1900s. That hasn't really been documented, but we do have the only historic thing that was in the building when I purchased the building was a hotel registry from the mid 1800s. Yep, and those are the original registries. One of the rooms is, we call it the Kate Winslet room, because Kate Winslet stayed in the suite when she was filming down in Thorndale. And so we call that so people will be able to dine in the Kate Winslet room, which should be fun for them.
After the property was a traveler's stopover, it became a local watering hole for Lucan's employees.
Coatesville was a steel town, and so it was, they had 3 shifts a day. So I've heard many stories of little 10, 12, 15-year-old sons coming in with their dads and getting a beer, and there was a spittoon trough right behind where I was sitting where I'm standing here. We had to rip it out. It just didn't work. But it was, platoon troughs are kind of a historic feature.
When Michael purchased the property in 2016, he restored it to its original 1880s charm.
The wainscoting here, a lot of that is original back into 1858. And all the patchwork that we did was make it to look exactly the same. And the ceiling is a new ceiling, but it actually looks like it's 1858. So we basically just ripped everything out, got it down to its guts, put in new mechanical systems, and then the building was fully carpeted when I purchased it, and it has no carpeting in it at all. We exposed the 1858 heart pine flooring.
We spoke with Isaac, Michael's son, who is the executive chef here at Stottsville Inn, and he told us about his menu.
We have a very open and inviting restaurant, and I wanted to design the menu the same way. So if you would like to come and have burgers or wings, you can have that experience, but you also can have an experience of having a nice beet salad with local goat cheese from up the street, Shellbrook Hollow Farms. You can have an entree, and you can have our fresh, we try to make our own ice cream, and we make our own desserts here too. I try to be very veg forward too. Nice sides of mushrooms with brown butter, local polenta, which I taste like grits because I fold in some cheddar cheese when I'm done. Fried Brussels with bacon and honey mustard. Just very barish food, but then with my specials, I try to look at, okay, what's in season, what can I make that's fresh, like we have pears coming up, we have squash coming up. Fall's my favorite time of the year because you still have great produce from the summer, and you can start getting your Brussels sprouts, your butternut squash, and start folding in that stuff. And it's also soup season, which I love making soups.
One of the popular items is their homemade pan pizza.
What I'll do is I'll make the dough, I'll let it sit overnight, I portion it the next day, I let it sit one more day, and then I use it. So it's got at least 48 hours on it, which makes it light, airy, and then crispy on the bottom because of the pan. We use San Marzano tomatoes. I don't like cooking my tomato sauce, just nice, fresh, a little basil, some roasted garlic, some chili flakes, some oregano, and we also do house-made mozzarella, which I think makes our margarita probably out of this world.
The owners and staff have done everything possible to make this space safe during the COVID outbreak.
When COVID hit, we ended up luckily having, twice the patio space. And we, did investigations of what we could do for sunscreens and like that, because people sitting outside and getting baked by the sun is really not that nice. So we got their shade triangles. They're very cool. They're used in Florida and the southern states a lot. So we bought 8 or 9 shade triangles that we put up, and we put up more posts to put more lighting outside. And then of course we did all the safety protocols of 10 or 12 hand sanitizing stations, like you mentioned before, tissue paper at every door handle. You just take a little piece of tissue paper and touch the door handle with the tissue paper and throw it away in a trash can right there, both in and out. And of course our tables are spaced so that it's a safe environment to have outdoor seating.
Michael has plans to renovate and add an outdoor banquet facility.
Our existing patio, which is 2,000 square feet, we're going to make a bona fide banquet room out of it, and it will have an entire glass wall that will look out onto this existing patio with French doors that will lead out into it, and we'll have a Lexan roof over it and glass garage doors that will make it indoor or outdoor, a 3 or 4 season. and of course new men's and women's rooms here, and we're really excited to get into the banquet and wedding business.
So thanks for joining us today. We hope that everyone comes down and visits this great space at Stottsville Inn. It's one of my favorite places to come enjoy the live music and the outdoor patio space. The food is delicious and the atmosphere is warm and welcoming. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Back to you, Justin.
Thanks, Alyssa, for that report, and thanks to Michael and his team for letting us check out the restaurant and hear a little bit about the food and the history. If you're able to get out there, they are open we're a little bit more limited hours than normal, so check their website for hours, but I think dinner most nights. If you'd like to have your business or nonprofit featured on our show and you're a member of the Chamber, we'd love to hear from you. You can email Rachel, our communication coordinator. She can be reached at rachel@westernchestercounty.com. Our next story is another Member Minute segment, and it's a story from our friends with the Matt Gorham Real Estate Group, one of our board members. Rachel had a chance to talk to him about his business and a little bit about the real estate market here in Chester County.
Thank you, Justin. I'm Rachel Cathell with the Chamber, and I'm here today speaking with Matt Gorham from the Matt Gorham Group. How are you, Matt?
I'm having a good day, Rachel. I always have a good day.
Can you tell us a little about what your team does in your service area?
Yeah, sure. We have a real estate team, and I have 10. I'm lucky and blessed enough to have 10 people that work with me on an everyday basis. We help people buy homes, sell homes, rent homes. We help them find investment properties. We've done some commercial as well. So we primarily do that in Chester County as a whole. Our specialty is the Downingtown-Coatesville area.
Great. How have you navigated buying and selling properties during the pandemic?
Well, that was very difficult. We were the last state in the union that was open for real estate. So everyone else was open but Pennsylvania. So we had a really hard time. We had to put a lot of protocol in place, sanitizing stations, booties, masks. We had to make sure that we filled out questionnaires for medical conditions prior to coming out. Sellers were making sure that buyers were 100% pre-approved before they came into their homes. So it was very unique once things opened up. When it was closed, we were literally closed. We could only do virtual tours. There's only so many people that want to buy a house when they can't touch it and feel it and smell it. And so that was a tough time. We went from selling, we were having a record year. We were going from 10, 11 sales a week to 1. And it was just like hitting a switch. Nobody saw it coming.
And with all that going on, what was the trend for home sales and home prices during that time?
Yeah, at that time, everything kind of froze. And they had been going on. We had a normal spring market, which usually starts in February, not April, people. It's February, right to the Super Bowl. So we're ramping up. We're doing, great spring business. And then we get to that point, and it just kind of flattened out because there was uncertainty. No one's ever been here before, and our job was to make sure that our sellers and buyers weren't jumping off the ledge. Some people needed to pull out of transactions for losing a job or uncertainty, or a buyer wanted to pull out, so we had to protect them. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of work and a lot of navigating and a lot of hand holding, but we're in a relationship business. So for us, holding hands is not a problem with our clients. We like to walk all the way through it with our folks. And then when we got the green light, we weren't sure whether it was going to go up or down. I don't think anybody did. I would have bet that it would have gone a different direction, but it has gone absolutely crazy ever since. The interest rates dropped, which caused even more of a frenzy. We have a tremendous inventory shortage in our county right now, and it's tremendous. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, and with what are real estate investors doing with that short inventory?
That is tough because I invest in real estate too. Like I'll buy a house and I'll flip it, or I'll try to get it rental. My wife and I. Really what's happening is you need to have your ear to the street. Investors are struggling to find properties because interest rates are so low. People are willing to spend more money, and money's more available than it has been for a long period of time. The deals that are happening on those are really relationship based. In fact, I just did one with Jonathan Wright the other day, and Mike Goddard did the financing actually, and it went very beautifully.
What kind of advice would you give to people who are looking to buy or sell right now?
Well, if you're looking to buy or sell right now, if you want to sell, sell. It is, when there's no inventory, you can do very, very well. This is an opportunity for people that thought they could never get out of a certain neighborhood to get out of a certain neighborhood, or they think that they could never move into another neighborhood to do it. It's worked really well on the sell side. Where it's really difficult is the buy side, and that's just the truth. The truth is, if you are able, to sell and not buy, that may be the best thing. And kind of just wait a little bit. We have an election coming. We've got some other things that indicate that things aren't going to stay this robust. But as far as selling, I find it to be one of the best selling markets I've ever seen. It actually is the best selling market I've ever seen.
Definitely different. Can you pinpoint what your biggest challenge has been through all this?
The biggest one, well, I would say there's two things that I really learned from this scenario. A challenge and a lesson. I'll say the challenge is making sure that these buyers that are really good people, that are working hard, that have saved their pennies and have worked really hard to buy a house, and they're running into these competitive situations and they're getting a little flustered. That's our challenge, is making sure that we can find ways to get them houses when they're competing against someone with cash, or someone that's going to waive all the inspections or waive the appraisal, do things that are just not advisable in every scenario. So we have to keep them mentally prepared. They have to be prepared from the beginning. It's really crazy. And the lesson that I learned as a business owner, we always want to make sure that we have security for our employees.
Moving forward, what do you foresee for your business, for the Matt Gorham Group?
One of the things that we take a lot of pride in is selling homes in the Stottsville School District, where a lot of realtors disappear. Or they don't want to say, I'm from here, I can do this. The truth is, there's so many amazing people in Stottsville, and we just love it. So we hope that we're doubling down on our marketing efforts there. We love our community. We love the kids. We love to give back. We want to stay entrenched there. And so that's really part of it for us. We want to just try to be the dominant force in that market.
And you serve on our chamber board. You're very active with us. You can see Matt at all our events. Why is it so important for
I've
you?
missed a few this year because I've got a 1.5 and a 2.5-year-old, and there's this pandemic thing. But yeah, the chamber is awesome, Rachel. I've been part of many different organizations. I've been on different boards. I can say that the Western Chester County Chamber is authentic. You can build real relationships with real people, and it's not a snobatorium. There's not a clique that you don't come to this event because you won't get a chance. You get to build real relationships. I love it. When I get, like Sikorsky will call me and say, hey, we've got someone that's moving in the area. Can you share them around? Well, I can call the local business owners around and really introduce them to our new neighbor. They're looking to move here from somewhere else. And that's really fun when I can run down to Harry's and I can knock on John's door, even though he's a Cowboys fan, and say, hey, John, this is Bill. He's from Oklahoma. We'd love to, get you guys to know each other. Those relationships are just huge. And they've been some of our deepest friendships. We were blessed to have people off the chamber, at our wedding. Like, we just grew these great relationships, and they're not fake. That's why I said the word authentic. So those are just some reasons. I could keep going if you want, Rach.
No, thank you.
But it's real. You can see this, it's sincere.
Yes, I'm going to take that word, authentic. That's a good one. Thank you, Matt.
Well,
So thank you for talking with me today. It was great seeing you. And
nice chat with you too. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to meet with you. That was fun.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I'll see you, Matt.
All right, bye now. Have a good day.
Thanks, Rachel, for that report, and to Matt and his team. for all they do for the real estate community here in Chester County. So we are here at the Uptown Canara Performing Arts Center. Mainly, my company is going to be doing a live stream event for them this afternoon, so I appreciate them giving us the space here. So I have April with us, who is the interim executive director for Uptown. So tell us just a little bit about the space that we're in right now.
This is the A. Roy Smith Bravo Theater on our main stage. And we have 2 theater spaces. This is our main one, and then we also have another black box upstairs.
Cool. And this is an historic space, right?
It
So
is.
talk about what was this before?
Yes, this was the Armory, and it's a great space. They did an amazing job with the renovations that are here, so you can still see some of the original architecture and things like that throughout the building.
Cool. And I mean, COVID-19 has just not been a great thing for arts in general. Talk about, I guess, what you guys have been doing to try to keep things going, and what's going in the future for us.
We've had to pivot. So since our closure in March, we've had to pivot and do some online live streaming through Facebook to keep our audience and our artists connected, and that's been a really great success. And we also had to do our Raise Up the Curtain campaign, which will help us sustain operations until we're able to open up our doors again.
And when we do open, for those that may not, coming out from Coatesville, they haven't been here, talk about the kind of shows that typically happen here once we're able to get 300 people in here again.
Yeah, so once we're able to open up the doors, we'll have shows like the AC/DC tribute bands. We have Tom Rush. We also have Jim McHugh comedy that will be in here. So we're really excited. We'll even have Joe Conklin again this year.
Awesome. So for those that don't know, how do they get in touch? How do they find out about shows?
So if anything that they want to know, they can go to our website. It's uptownwestchester.org, and they can then become a member, and they can join our email list.
Awesome. Again, thanks so much, April, for letting us be here.
Thank you.
So that's it for our show today. We look forward to having you again in 2 weeks for our next show on the 24th. And just a quick reminder to register for that ribbon cutting event at Casablanca at the Midway Arts Building, which is next Thursday the 17th. You can come anytime between 2 and 9, and they will have free food, so you can't turn down free food. So have a good rest of the day, and we will see you in 2 weeks.